Hello and welcome to a special edition of WP. Well, Western Australia has been hit by two disasters in the same week, a COVID-19 lockdown and devastating bushfires. Many homes have been lost during the blaze as firefighters work around the clock to bring it under control. It's an exhausting battle, particularly for young firies on the front line, doing everything they can to save lives and people's homes. We talked to the Department of Fire and Emergency Services for insight into how prepared our young firefighters are for the challenges of saving homes and lives.
It has been a tremendously exhausting battle against bushfires. So how are fireys doing, particularly the younger firefighters on the front line?
Yeah, so it has been a tremendously exhausting battle, and all our firefighters are certainly feeling the pinch and starting to be fatigued. We've had crews come up from all across the state, and we're sort of keeping an eye not only on our younger firefighters, but we've got a lot of older firefighters out there as well. So we're keeping an eye on everyone to make sure that that they're healthy and able to do the job that they're required to do.
Yeah, it must be an unforgettable experience for everyone, but are you overwhelmed by the community's unity and compassion?
Yeah, it's been a huge effort by everyone, a significant incident, and I think people in the Perth Hills are certainly close communities, and they'll rally around each other and help each other out through these pretty difficult times.
So with the major fires 100% contained, rain certainly helps. What's the next step here for firefighters?
Yes, our priority is to get the community back into those affected areas. We've been busy opening roads. We've been working with local government, main roads, also Western Power to try and restore power to the community as well. So the next phase is more directed around that recovery area.
So after seeing the devastation and nature's fury, it must be a miracle that no lives were lost in fires.
Yeah, we're certainly grateful that no human lives were lost at the fire. We think obviously there was some good planning done by the community, but also fantastic efforts by all the firefighters to protect properties and lives, and that's always our priority.
And finally, there's a campaign on social media praising firefighters with thumbs up. Do you hope that the community will show their appreciation for team members?
Yeah, I think it's nice for the community to show their appreciation for the firefighters. The firefighters put in a huge effort. Some of them have been here for since the start of the fire. A lot of them, or many of them, are volunteers. So, yeah, I think any time the community shows appreciation, that the firefighters would certainly appreciate that.
And now, here's AMA WA President Dr. Andrew Miller with a COVID-19 update.
Hi, it's been a big week in COVID as we've all lived through, and I just wanted to make a couple of points about the response. First of all, congratulations to the government for moving quickly. By going to a short, sharp lockdown, you give your contact tracers plenty of time to get on top of it. Of course, there was the extra anxiety around this being the B117 variant that spreads more easily. I just wanted to talk about what that means, because a lot of people are surprised that there's been no cases found so far. So even with this variant, compared to the previous ones that were less transmissible, not everyone will infect other people. So if you get 100 people infected with it, which unfortunately is the common experience around the world in places where you get lots and lots of people infected, there'll be big numbers to look at. But let's just say you've got 100 infected, there'll be some of those who don't infect anyone else at all. That's because they don't give out much virus, and the way they behave, they don't get around much, so they don't spread it. Then there'll be others in the middle who might infect a couple of people. That would be fairly typical. But then there are some who are what we call super spreaders. And there's not a big proportion of the 100 who are going to be super spreaders, but they can infect 6, 12, a dozen, which is the same as 12, or 20, 50 people if they go to a crowded gathering, all in one go. And we didn't know at the start of this lockdown what we were dealing with here. So precaution is the best idea. Close it down, make sure that you look after the people who suffer during a lockdown, and get on top of it with your contact tracing. Luckily for us, our guard got his test in time. Good on him. He doesn't seem to be the sort of person who spreads virus either through his behaviour or through his natural immunity, and so we've had a good near miss there. What's been great is everyone's adopted the public use of masks very well. We know that this reduces the transmission of COVID by about 30% in the communities that adopt them. So it gives you that confidence too when you're out and about and someone's coughing, that they're not coughing straight into your nose and mouth and eyes, which is how you get this virus, either through the air or through those sort of droplets. So that was all really good. And then now we need to look at the hotel quarantine and figure out how to stop this from happening again. As you know, my view is that if we're going to run quarantine in hotels, which seems to be the only option we have in the short term, then we need to change the way we run them. We need to have a lot better training for the guards. We need to really examine whether some guards can be replaced with technology such as CCTV. We need to really up the ventilation in these places so that airborne virus gets flushed out. The federal government expert advisors have said since the start of this that actually it only spreads via droplets up to 1.5 metres, doesn't spread through the air. There's a lot of other really influential scientists and countries around the world now accepting that there are a lot of circumstances in which actually it does transfer through the air, and so we need to just get past that. But what it means is we need better ventilation and we need better PPE, because your normal surgical mask doesn't stop air coming in around the side and getting into your eyes, and so what you need in those circumstances is the N95 style respirator mask, some sort of eye protection, and then some sort of body covering as well. The sort of thing that you see on the news when they're doing deep cleans. If you're going to be in contact with any COVID patient, if you're working on the front line in airports or transport or hotel quarantine or hospitals, that's the sort of gear that you need to have ready access to. Not an old surgical mask sitting in your pocket to pull out if you might hear somebody coming. So you can see why we've been frustrated with the hotel quarantine setup. We understand it's government policy. However, when you've been told again and again by not just the AMA, but also by all of our expert members, but also by people who are in hotel quarantine and by whistleblower security guards and nurses and doctors who've worked in hotel quarantine, that there are problems with the system, you really got to sit up and take notice before you get an outbreak. Haven't heard anything from the ships lately. Really about time that we checked up on the health of our maritime interface, that is the ports. So the big ports in WA, of course, Port Hedland, Dampier, Fremantle. How many people coming and going from those ships? What sort of testing is happening? What sort of PPE is being used? Because I'm guessing it's not top of the line. So great result, Western Australia, from the last week. Really happy with the way that it's gone. Always nipping at the heels of government to try and get them to improve things a bit further. And just remember, stuffy, enclosed, indoor locations, you've got to think about that for what it's going to mean during an outbreak. Thanks for your time.
And that's all for this week. We'll be back again next time, but for now, it's back to you.
Thank you, Nelson. And that's our weekly news and current affairs. For the latest anytime, go to our website, wannews.com.au.
Until next Sunday, from Sarah and myself, we wish you good health and good night.
Thanks for tuning in.